Problem 996, for each diagram below, solve for x. Explain what method you used for each problem. All right, part A, we are solving for x, and I see here that this diagram gives me two angles. So we have this one, and then I'm going to do my other in green, too. So two angles together that make up a right angle, right? Because that's what that box in the corner means. So what we're going to do to write an equation is we're going to take our two angles, our 6x, we're going to add it to our other angle, so that 4x plus 10. Now we know that both of these angles together make a 90-degree angle, so we'll set that equal to 90. Now all we have to do is work through our equation and solve for x. So I have a 6x and a 4x. That gives me 10x. I'll bring down my plus 10 and set it equal to 90. Next, I'm going to subtract 10 from each side. I get a 0 pair here, and I am left with a 10x on the left and 80 on the right. Now I'll divide by 10 on each side. That leaves me with x, or 1x. 80 divided by 10 gives me 8. So we're going to say x equals 8. Don't forget your degree symbol because we are talking in terms of angle measurement, so we want to make sure we call that 8 degrees. All right, now we're not quite done yet because it told us to, let's see, explain what method you used for each problem. So when they talk about explain which method you used for each problem, all I'm going to say is that a right angle is 90 degrees. That's all we have to say. That's fine. So that's how we solve A. Let's take a look at B now. All right, so B, let me go ahead and trace over these angles for you so you can have a good look here. I'm going to do one. I'll do one in blue and one in green again. So we have this angle. Ooh. We have, if I can trace over it nicely, this angle here. And then we have this 3x plus 7 right here. So we have these two angles, and they together, you can see that they make a straight angle. And what do we know about a straight angle? Well, a straight angle is 180 degrees. So if you're thinking, we need to set our equation equal to 180, you're absolutely right. So we're going to take our two angle measurements, our 5x plus 13. We're going to add them together because we know together they add up to 180 degrees. And there's our equation. Now we just have to solve through. I have a 5x and a 3x here, which are like terms, and then a 3 and a 7. So my 5x plus 3x gives me an 8x, plus my 13 and 7 give me a 20. Bring down my 180 on the right side here. Now I've got to work on getting this 8x by itself, so I'll subtract 20, which leaves me with a 0 pair. Now I have to subtract 20 on the other side to keep the equation balanced. I'm left with 8x equals 160. And to get x by itself, I'm just going to divide by 8. And same on the other side. So when I do 160 divided by 8, I should get 20. Now remember, we're talking about angle measurements, so we do need that degrees symbol. X equals 20. All right, now let's talk about the method we used to solve this. So, when they talk about method that we use, it's kind of more like asking, well, hey, what did you notice about this that helped you write an equation? And we're going to say that a straight angle equals 180 degrees. That's all you need to write for that, but do make sure you write it down because that is part of the problem. And we can move on to C now. All right, for C, it looks like we have a triangle. We do need to solve for X. And it does that. Now this one, you see we do have our 3 angles, and they give us an expression to represent the measurement of each of those angles. So what I'm going to do is try to come up with my equation now to determine what X equals. Well, we're dealing with a triangle here, and I know that a triangle has 180 degrees total. It doesn't matter what kind of triangle, what size, what shape, every triangle has 180 degrees. So I'm going to take what they give me here. I'm going to start at the top, this 3x plus 5 plus 2x plus 18 plus 2x plus 17. All right, so I have those expressions that they gave me for all 3 angles. Now the reason we're adding them together is because they all add up to 180 degrees. So there's my 180. All right, now at this point, it's just a matter of solving through the equation. So when I look for like terms, I like to either highlight or use circles or some kind of shape to, help organize my work just so I know what is what. So I'm going to highlight my X terms and then my constant terms here. So if that's something that works well for you, definitely do it. I encourage you to do that. Whatever helps. So, all right, I have a 3x plus a 2x plus a 2x. Well, 3x plus 2x is 5x, and 5x plus 2x is 7x. So I'll bring that down. 7x plus, now I'm going to take a look at my constant terms in green. I have 5 plus 18. That's going to give me 23. And then 23 plus 17 is going to give me 40. So I have 7x plus 40 equals 180. I want to work on getting this 7x by itself, so I'll subtract 40. Have to do it on both sides to keep that equation balanced. I'm left with 7x equals, 180 minus 40 gives me 140. And then I go ahead and I divide by 7. That's how I get x by itself. And 140 divided by 7 is going to give me, 20 again. Don't forget your degree symbol since we're talking angles. Now we need to talk about the method that we used. And again, in this case, what they mean is just, how did we know how to write our equation? Well, we know we're going to say that the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. That's all we need to say. Again, do make sure you write that because that is a valid part of the problem. And then we can go ahead and move on to our last part, part D. All right, for part D, I see that they give me, we have another triangle here. And again, we have another set of 3 angles. So we have a 30-degree angle. We're going to add that to our angle that is x that they give us. And then we have that box in the bottom left of this triangle. That's a right angle symbol. And if you don't know, a right angle is 90 degrees. So we're going to add all 3 and set it equal to 180, right? Because just like part C, we know all 3 angles, no matter what their measurement is, add up to 180 degrees. All right, let's take a look at the terms I have here. I have a couple constants, and I have only one x term. So I have a 30 plus a 90. So 30 plus 90 is going to give me 120. I don't have anything to combine with my x, so I'm just going to bring it down. Same with my 180 on the right side. Now, to get our x by itself, let's subtract 120 from the left side. We do that and we get a 0 pair. Got to subtract that 120 from the other side as well to keep the equation balanced. And that isolates x. So x is by itself on the left. So 180 minus 120 gives us 60. 60 what? 60 degrees. All right, and for this one, we're just going to say the same thing for our method. So we know the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. That's all you have to say. And yes, even though it is the same method as we use for C, yes, you do have to write it again. It doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. It just helps to really solidify that idea or that concept in your brain. So do write that down as well. And that is all for 996.